the Coyote Twin, the Coyote Twin, Vermilion's Downtown Theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Coming up on Coyote News, two separate music cultures combined.
And a drag show with performances by both pros and amateurs. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Sierra Prue.
And I'm Rachel Pekos. We'll have those stories and more, but first, the Halloween holiday season is just around the corner, but it's not always festive for everyone. A student organization is doing what it can to make sure food's on the table for Vermilion families. Student group Beta Alpha Psi is made up of finance, accounting, and data analytics majors. They say their annual food drive allows members to make a change and become more involved in the community. Andy Malatar says that their fall tradition is well established.
It's a great opportunity to just help out those people who need it, as well as kind of form some recognition for giving back to the community, as well as kind of promoting our chapter a little bit.
Last year's food drive collected and delivered 2,329 pounds of food to the Vermilion Food Pantry. This year, Beta Alpha Psi was able to deliver over 1,600 pounds of food to families in need.
SGA President Allie Feiner found herself in a new position on Sunday when the Student Federation Board of Directors named her the interim executive director. The decision was made after an email from the group's executive director, Zebediah Johnson, and chair Elizabeth Bez Miller, in which they both resigned their positions. Their resignations come following a vote of no confidence from SGA concerning work being done by Johnson and Benz Miller. At last night's SGA meeting, Feiner told Senators Carson Sayre, former director of operations, is the only nomination they received to fill the executive director position. The board of directors are still seeking nominations for the chair position. The board's expected to vote tomorrow.
Two different musical cultures became one when USD hosted the Lakota Music Project. Coyote News' Kayla Salim gives us a look at the South Dakota Symphony Orchestra and Lakota tribal music working together.
Alf's auditorium filled up with students and community members to witness the fusion of musical cultures.
So, as we know, the Lakota Music Project is a big part of what we do with the South Dakota Symphony, but probably my first real foray into it was, I can't remember the year off the top of my head, but we did a concert up on the reservation up in Sisseton, and to me it was pretty poignant, you know, with what's I guess would be generally classified as Western music, and then with Native American music on the same stage. It was pretty neat to see those two cultures brought together that way.
These Lakota musicians have been collaborating with the South Dakota Symphony Orchestra for over 20 years now.
My experiences with leading up to the symphony, we're wild, we're free with our music, and coming here, being a part of the symphony, as you can tell, he points at us when it's time to sing, and we have to work at that. So we hope that in the music that we produce and the friendships that we have, that it comes through the music.
The Lakota Music Project showcased many local pieces that evening, and even some composed by high school students. For Coyote News, I'm Kayla Salim.
The Music Project finished their tour in Sioux Falls, but they're expected to perform at the same time next year.
USD choirs hosted their first in-person performance in 2 years. Symphonic and chamber choirs, along with the Collegium Musicum, performed their fall showcase Sunday in Alf's Auditorium. This is the first concert for the newly named Symphonic Choir for a brand new Collegium Musicum. The new group features only female soprano and alto voices. Symphonic Choir director Timothy Campbell hasn't had an in-person performance since 2019. The chamber choir sang songs they plan to perform when they go on tour in the spring. The Fine Arts College is hosting multiple events in the next month for the holiday season. Next week, the USD Jazz Ensemble performs.
The Fine Arts Department hosted their second show the fall semester called Title of Show, which features the story of two playwrights writing a musical about two playwrights, writing a musical about two playwrights, writing a musical.
Title of Show was hosted in the Arena Theater located inside the Fine Arts Building. Due to COVID, there has been no performances in the Arena Theater for nearly 2 years.
It is crazy to finally have like a full audience. Like last night we sold out, which was so cool, especially on opening night. So to like have a full audience reacting and interacting with you after 2 years of like silence in the theater has been incredible.
While some may not be used to the Arena Theater, Seeley says it helps them tell the story.
The Arena Theater adds to this performance in the way that you feel like you're in the apartment with us, like writing this musical, and you're part of the creation of this musical. And I think having it in this intimate space allows the audience to see how we're creating it.
Title of Show was showcased 3 times during the College of Fine Arts Celebration of Excellence, which honored the College of Fine Arts Hall of Fame recipients.
The Fine Arts Department will host their third show, The Lion in Winter, in November.
Following the National Music Museum's grand reopening, Dr. Deborah Reeves, the Curator of Education, says she's excited to introduce a new exhibit this spring. The museum is planning to open an Indonesian-inspired gallery focusing on instruments, scene, and gamelan ensembles. The exhibit will begin in March and continue through the end of the summer.
Personally, I love the gamelan, and it is such a wonderful, first of all, it's strikingly beautiful, but secondly, it's a wonderful educational tool.
Before the exhibit opens, Dr. Reeves and many other community members have been meeting weekly to learn how to play these traditional instruments before they're put on display. The National Music Museum currently has an exhibit demonstrating the history of electric stringed instruments, which will be open until December 13th, when they'll begin designing the gamelan gallery.
Still to come on Coyote News, superstition of adopting a black cat around Halloween.
This is Coyote News.
Last Friday, the USD Symphony Orchestra performed in Alf's Auditorium for their season opening show, and this time there was no limit to their in-person audience. Andre Soto, the composer of Sequoia Poem for Orchestra that was performed at the concert, was in the audience. This was the first time this piece was performed and was dedicated to the students of USD and the director, Louis Viquez. The inspiration for this piece came from Soto visiting the Sequoia National Park numerous times and the giant trees the park contains. The concert ended with a symphonic suite from The Lord of the Rings. Director Viquez wanted to incorporate more film music.
Last Saturday, Slagle Hall was filled with music and live performances. Coyote News' Danielle Connectiony has the details about USD's only drag show.
The Gender and Sexuality Group on campus, also known as Spectrum, put on their annual drag show Saturday night. The show was filled with both professional and amateur drag queens.
I think the drag show, first off, it's our biggest event that brings together the community and shares just passion for all of this, really, you know? I can't walk into a grocery store looking like this, but when I walk in here, it's everything, you know? And that's what's so great about a drag show, is just the liberation, you know? For sure.
Isabel also explained that this event usually takes months of preparation and planning since it is the club's biggest event of the year.
Spectrum mostly books the space. We sell the tickets, we advertise the show, and this morning I got here early to help set up, make sure everything was running well.
There were several USD students that participated in the amateur part of the drag show, along with professional drag queens from the House of Shakers located in Sioux Falls and Sioux City. For some of the queens, it was their first time performing in a drag show. For Coyote News, I'm Danielle Connectioning.
Spectrum has a Halloween fundraiser on October 29th to raise money for Vermilion Domestic Violence Safe Option Services.
Internet reports of black cats being held from adoption during the month of October and Halloween season have surfaced. Shelters fear the animals will be harmed. Carrie Philmeyer says the black cats are already in the shelters 50% longer than other cats because of superstitions. The Heartland Humane Society in Yankton does allow their black cats to be adopted during Halloween.
Our feeling is that folks who are adopting a cat are doing the right thing. There's so many free animals out there. So we trust our adopters. We like to work with them and develop relationships. And I think our message here is more about just keeping those cats safe once they're in the adopters' homes.
Meyer says superstitions for black cats in the U.S. date back to the Salem witch trials when the goddess Freya from Norse mythology came to America and turned her cats into witches. If you have concerns for your black cats, the shelters recommend keeping your cats indoors during this time.
A new peer mentoring program called Peer to Peer has begun. Coyote News' Michael Stake is live in the muck with the graduate assistant who started it all. Michael?
Thanks, Sierra. I'm here with Shalish Schloss, a graduate assistant for the Student Counseling Center in Lost and Found. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
Last week, you mentioned at the SGA meeting that you have no mentees. Can you tell us what that is and how you plan on getting more?
So we're currently working with the Student Counseling Center. We're just trying to get the word out through any way possible. In regards to the SGA or the Student Counseling Center, we are looking to do like referral process. Anybody who's on the wait list, we're going to try to get in contact with them, see if this is a program that they feel they would benefit from, and just hopefully give them another resource while they wait to get off the wait list. So yeah.
And how many mentors do you have and how are they being trained?
We have 12 mentors currently. We recently went through orientation, so basically going over, what the peer-to-peer mentor program is, what Lost and Found is, some connections with the Student Counseling Center, and then we just go into, what their expectations are as a mentor. We talk about goal setting, we talk about boundary setting, and basically what the expectations are for the program.
And how do students get in contact with the mentors?
So basically what will happen is when we get some mentees in, we will provide contact information to the mentees and the mentors. That way, if a mentee sees in their email box like some random email from somebody, they're not like, what the heck is going on? And so I basically will tell the mentors and give the mentees their contact information.
Thank you. Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Michael Stake.
Michael, to contact the group, email usdpeertopeermentoring@gmail.com.
To celebrate the pride and traditions of their country, the Nepalese Student Association gathered this past Saturday in the Muck Ballroom. All students were invited to the Nepalese Student Night celebrating the food, culture, and dance of the country of Nepal. Nepali students and faculty shared stories about their home country. This time of year, Nepalis celebrate two major festivals, Dasain and Tihar. The association prepared the food themselves for the event. NSA President Divya Nyapani spoke of the significance and diversity and the importance of having a home away from home at USD. Students wishing to get involved can email the Nepali Student Association for their next event.
A bond of $1 million has been set for Mitch Caffey, a man accused of a fatal shooting and hostage situation northwest of Sioux Falls. Law enforcement officers responded to a Wessington Springs house early Sunday on a report of a man holding a female hostage following a fatal shooting inside the residence. The female was eventually released and the man surrendered. He's being held on possible charges of first-degree murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and burglary. The South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation continues to investigate with assistance from the Gerald County Sheriff's Office.
USD sold just over 3,500 parking permits this year for an estimated 4,000 available parking spots. But not all the parking spots are close to classrooms or offices, making parking issues a common complaint. Guidelines require parking permits to be displayed in a vehicle, otherwise the person risks getting a ticket. UPD has the authority to give tickets and immobilize vehicles by putting boots on them, and in severe cases, tow vehicles to an impound lot until fines are paid.
Authority has been granted to the Board of Regents to enforce their property policies on their properties. As USD is a Board of Regents school, it falls under their jurisdiction. And in turn, the University Police Department has been empowered by the Board of Regents to enforce parking policies on campus.
Forging or altering parking passes can lead to legal implications. Parking ticket appeals can be filed online under the University Police tab on the USD website. Last weekend, the Coyote soccer team and SDSU had an eventful final 2 minutes.
That's right, Rachel. When we return, Sydney will have details on that game and more.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Sydney Funderman. The Coyotes had some wins over the weekend, and we have details. The Coyote football team went into Saturday's game against the Illinois State Redbirds, ranked at number 15, and finished the weekend at number 21 in the FCS rankings. The Coyote football team fell to Illinois State by the score of 20-14. The Redbirds jumped out with an early 10-point lead. Starting Coyote quarterback Carson Camp left the game with a head injury early in the second quarter and was replaced with redshirt freshman Cole Stenstrom. Stenstrom threw for 125 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Redbirds running back Cole Mueller rushed for 180 yards. The Coyotes moved to 5-3 in the regular season play and 3-2 in the Missouri Valley Conference. USD is in an off week. They played the Western Illinois Fighting Leathernecks in Macomb on November 6th. The Coyote tennis team was in Iowa City for the ITA Regionals this past weekend. USD had a school best of 3 players make it into the main draw at the ITA Nationals, a field of 128 players from 28 different schools. Yana Lazarevic, Habiba Ali, and Sonia Skobkareva represented USD in the show, but they all fell in the opening round. 3 doubles duos made it past the round of 128, but fell in the round of 64. The tennis team closes out their fall season at the NIU Invitational on Friday. The soccer team hosted South Dakota State in the home finale at the First Bank and Trust Soccer Complex. SDSU goalkeeper was able to defend the free kick by Joanna Zanin, but Zanin was able to put in the second attempt, putting USD up 1 into the half. SDSU quickly scored in the second half and continued to put pressure on the Coyote defense. With less than 2 minutes to go, senior Jordan Centennial found the back of the net and scored USD's 10th victory on the season, their most wins in the Division I era. The Coyotes wrap up Summit League play in Denver on Friday and Omaha on Sunday. After those 2 games, the team will head into the playoffs. Coyote News' Philip Larson is live in the muck to get details about the upcoming games. Phil?
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here in the muck with Michael Thomas, head coach of the women's USD soccer team. Michael, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So with defeating SDSU, what did it mean for the team to not only get that win, but to also do it at home?
You know, I think it's a significant win for the program. The women have been working hard for the last several years. We've had a lot of success at home this year. I think we're 8-1 or something like that. And it's always fun to do it in front of your home fans. The fans have been great this year, and we appreciated the ones that came out on the cold, windy day, and it was just a lot of fun.
And that marked win number 10 on the season. How do you feel about the Coyotes winning 10 games in a single season for the first time in the Division I era?
As I said, it's been a process for the last 4 to 5 years for some of these players, and people kept asking us what our goals are, and our goals are just to do a little more the next day than we did the day before. And getting to double-digit wins is always something that I think is significant, and we're proud of it.
You guys just played South Dakota State. With Denver and Omaha up next, what advantages come with ending the regular season competing against 3 playoff contenders?
You know, the Summit League definitely saved the best for last for us, and I think it's something that we were able to test a lot of things early in the season, and now we get to go out and start the playoffs a little bit early, if you will. I think it's also a great thing for all the teams that are going into the playoffs that whoever makes the playoffs is going to be battle-tested and have a good chance in the tournament because of it.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, Michael.
Thank you.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Philip Larson.
Thanks, Phil. To watch the live stream of the games, go to the Go Yotes website. The volleyball team traveled to Brookings last Friday to take on in-state rival SDSU. The Coyotes started off strong, winning the first set 25-14, but the Jackrabbits flipped the script, winning a set of their own by the same score. USD rallied in the final 2 sets and took the match in 4. The volleyball team will host Kansas City in tomorrow's Pink game and Oral Roberts on Sunday. That's all for your Coyote sports. Coming up on Coyote News, students told us what costume they'd be okay with for the rest of their life.
I like shooting live because you have a greater responsibility. You get to go out, get hands-on experience in the field, and you know it's leading you to something great for the future. I really like the teamwork and being able to communicate with people. We all know what jobs we're supposed to be doing, and we all know what needs to get done. There's something about being live outside of the studio. Being on your own, it's just a different energy. I like being part of a team and working together to get the perfect interview. I think it's worth it from all the experience and all the skills you're going to get from it. It definitely helps you break down some barriers and opens you up to new experiences.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, this is your Uncle Tom.
Hey, Tom.
I was just wondering, how's school going there for you, kid? I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but I'm just kind of in a rush because they only let you have a 1.5-minute call when you get booked at the police station.
What do you mean you're in jail?
You want $400 again? Are you serious?
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to see your uncle in a cage, then that's your prerogative. And I mean, probably should have wasted my
Come on.
phone call on your dad.
Whoa.
Would have got the same answer.
Yeah, you probably would have, because you're an animal and you belong in a cage.
Thanks again here for being there for me. I know that you really care a lot about me and my well-being.
Well, you don't care about my well-being. You're trying to take my money so you can just continue to be a criminal. That's fine then.
You got 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, we'll go to rehab.
This is Coyote News.
Costumes are one way people express themselves over Halloween.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what Halloween costume they would wear for the rest of their life.
Here's what they had to say.
Harry Potter, because I'm technically a wizard.
It would be Prince Ali from Aladdin, because my name is Ali, and that's what I'm gonna be for Halloween this year, so stay tuned.
I'd be Rick Sanchez, so I could look like a scientist. People would think I'm smart.
I'd wear a Vikings jersey because that would make me look like a clown.
Well, my friend and I are dressing up as the crocodile and Steve Irwin, so I'm gonna say Steve Irwin.
Oh, Scream, because it's a classic.
Let's go for Batman, because it's pretty cool.
Bank robber, goes well with everything.
Pajamas, because I always like to sleep.
One of those morph suits that's like all one color because it's multi-purpose.
I'd be Hugh Hefner. I would try to start up Playboy Mansion too.
When I was like 6 years old, I had like an inflatable Superman costume that was like really jacked. That was the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Probably a superhero. I don't know which one, but a superhero for sure. Rest of your life, be a superhero? Why not?
Probably a pirate, because that's what I was last year and it was fun.
A North Carolina town finds itself under siege by buzzards, and nothing the locals do to scare them off seems to work. Bunn has been the buzzards' meeting place for the past year, and on Wednesday, 28 were reported perched on a cellular tower and another 21 at the high school across the street. Resident Allie Leggett says she counted 58 buzzards in her yard, on the roof, along the fence, and atop the garage. Locals to Bunn and the surrounding area have witnessed the birds peck bricks and eat roof vents of homes and restaurants. Commonly called buzzards, the birds are black or turkey vultures. Federal and state law outlaws killing, hurting, or harassing them.
Pick up this week's issue of The Volant with a story about two DJ brothers working for the same EDM company. Also check out tomorrow night's volleyball game coverage beginning at 7 on Coyote Radio, 91.9 KAOR FM.
Harry Potter.
That's all for Coyote News. Follow us on our Coyote News social media pages.
Watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week, now included in Spanish on our social media pages.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.